What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we're doing a little bit of a different kind of episode. We want to get back to doing some reviews and impressions of bar-related products, and Marius had a really good idea for a video that kind of went awry. So originally we were going to take 3 different levels of a pebble ice machine because it's been such a big topic on our channel, and just let them go head-to-head, side by side. A $150 machine, the $600 Opal that we have, and then a $2,000, well really it's a $2,500 machine. So Marius noticed that on Amazon you can buy ice machines from Scotsman, and I'm not sure if you guys remember that I have referenced this company in videos before, but Scotsman is the company that makes the commercial pebble ice machines. So when you go to Sonic and you get your pebble ice machines, it's Scotsman that's making that machine. The Scotsman machine is the machine that every bar that has pebble ice that I've ever worked in has. So we get this Scotsman ice machine, the CU50. It's a little intimidating, and I gotta say, I'm actually pretty proud of us. I'm not proud of us, I'm proud of Marius, because Marius had to Mickey Mouse this thing together. It needs an actual water line. We decided to hook up a water line to a hose spigot outside. Marius figured out how to do this. I don't know if you guys remember the picture of the Marius special that I posted, but he did a little bit of soldering and he got this thing to work, and now it's just kind of in the middle of our studio. When we plugged it in and turned it on and it started to make ice, we realized that it wasn't a pebble ice machine at all. It was just a regular ice machine. It just makes regular, run-of-the-mill shaking ice. And so this video had to change. So now the concept of this video is just looking at this machine and seeing if it's worth buying a $2,500 machine. I don't really know how much there is to say about an ice machine. I mean, at the very heart of it, it's just a machine that makes ice. I will say that the ice that this machine makes is very reminiscent of cold draft, which is sort of the gold standard in the bar industry. That's kind of what everybody wants. So it is circular ice as opposed to square, and I didn't realize that I had this prejudice, but I actually like square ice better for some reason. I don't know if it's just because all of the years of making ice in ice cube trays that I just, have grown accustomed to square ice, but I like the cold draft square ice cubes better. They geometrically fit in your glass more than a cylinder will. Cold draft definitely has a divot. I'm sure that every ice does, but with cold draft, it's very unpronounced and it's just like a little surface dip, and it's the same with this. Okay, let's just talk about pros and cons of this machine. The pros are that it can make 64 pounds of ice in 24 hours. It can hold 26 pounds of ice at any given time. It makes ice very quickly. And honestly, that's not gonna be an issue for you guys, because if you guys decided to buy a machine like this, you'd probably have a plumber or someone of that nature set it up for you anyway. So it was dropping ice almost immediately, and it was pretty full after an hour or two, so it works pretty quickly. Now let's get to the cons. It's $2,500. That is a big con. It is also a big machine that's supposed to fit under a counter. It opens out from the door like this. It doesn't like flip up or anything. So it's an under counter machine. Another thing is that the more time you leave the ice in there, the smaller the ice gets. So it basically works the same way as an Opal in that it makes ice, and the ice is nice and cold when you first get it. And then over time, this thing is not super cold inside, so the ice starts to melt a little bit. You get a little bit smaller pieces of ice. Water drains out, and then it makes more ice, and then you get nice ice at the beginning of the cycle. So depending on where you are in the cycle, your ice is going to change shape a little bit. I don't know if this is a pro or a con, but it's just not very practical for home use. It makes a ton of ice, so unless you're having a lot of parties and you entertain all the time, then it's going to make more ice than you can use, and I just don't see the point in an expense like that. So when we got this machine, it came in a kind of a ripped up box, and when we opened it up and then took off the little, they got that little like white plastic sheeting on it. We got all that off. We realized that it was dented in a lot of ways, and although that is a shipping company issue, the sheet metal that's made to use this machine is very thin, and so it dents very easily. And then also, because it's this stainless steel, it also shows your fingerprints kind of everywhere, so you're constantly going to have to be buffing this thing with Windex. You want to make sure that the vents are clear so that when they vent off any hot air, but I gotta tell you, it just seems like ice machine build quality. Every ice machine that I've ever come into contact with is built with thin sheet metal that can easily dent. It's even though it is a little bit flimsy, I kind of feel like it's par for the course for any ice machine. I will say that there's some definite kind of pain in the ass considerations when it comes to any ice machine. For instance, there are vents here that need to vent, and they need at least 6 inches of space. If you do not leave that space, the hot air can go back into the machine and mess it up. This was very problematic with cold draft machines, which are highly temperamental. Most ice machines are highly temperamental. The other thing is that you have to drain and clean them, pretty often, like once a month. So if you don't want to do that maintenance, then you shouldn't get an ice machine. But with Opals or any other like countertop ice machine like the Rove Sun that we did, it's going to be a lot easier to do that maintenance than something that's kind of very big, especially since this is considered an under-the-counter ice machine, which means that you're probably going to build a little pocket for it in your bar and stick it in, and then you're going to have to pull it out of that little pocket and maintain it. So there's not a lot of people that really want to go to those lengths to do it. I actually found a cold draft machine, which is the gold standard of ice, for less than this machine costs. So no, I don't think that this machine is worth it. I would not buy this for my home bar. I would find, if I was going to spend that kind of money on an ice machine, it's going to be the tippity top of the line ice machine.